Hi friend, we're tapping on the side of the hand. Let's get started. We're in gate 39. This is the gate of provocation. Even though sometimes I project my anger onto others, I choose to release it now. It's easy for me to only focus on the negatives of a situation, which lowers my vibe. I do believe that I was taught in my childhood to focus on the negative, which is a bummer because that programming is strong and it's taking me some time to undo it. I choose to look at the world today a little bit more positively and to clear some of this shadow. So even though sometimes I can be really provocative, I think because I'm scared, I choose to deeply and completely love and accept and forgive myself. And probably my family of origin who taught me how to think this way. And yeah, we're gonna clear it out. Okay, grab your water. I would, but I got a gato in my lap. Take a big swig. Pet your cat if it's nearby. And then we're gonna start tapping on the top of the head, moving through all the points. Just repeat after me, mimic what I do. He is dirty. All of this projection and anger. Sometimes I only focus on the negatives of a situation. And I'll feel really trapped. I think my life force sort of gets trapped in a way. Or sometimes I'm just fucking pissed off. And I provoke because I'm angry. I think in this shadow is where our addiction to violence comes in culturally. I think this is why we see it everywhere. So I am choosing to clear some of that provocative nature from my genetic matrix today. Sorry, my bangles are jangly. I'm afraid of losing my freedom above all else. And anytime you've seen a caged animal that's scared, you know how they use anger to provoke, to act big and tough. And they can become very violent. So there's a shocking truth to this shadow that every time I react emotionally, whether I provoke or I am provoked, I am contributing in some way to the violence that we see in the headlines in the outer world. So, I'm talking about an attitude shift. The only way that outer life can ever change is when our inner lives change. This shadow creates a hunger inside of me, which can literally show up as a food craving or a shopping craving. Whatever it is, I'm trying to fill a hole, right? But the hole that I'm trying to fill is one that is creative. I am hungry for creativity. So when I feel trapped, it's like my life force is trapped. So I begin to look today to make little changes in my attitude, to catch my attitude about things, ask myself some tough questions if I need to. Do I trust that I have enough? Am I so hungry for more that I'm just trying to hoard? And then what about the times where I need to be provocative? I affirm. I am not afraid of hurting someone else's feelings if it means breaking them out of a lower frequency, if it means breaking them out of a lower pattern. I do this for myself first, and I humbly accept it if someone comes to me and says, yo, there's this big blind spot you're not seeing. So I've adjusted my attitude. I'm not afraid to tell people if I think there's a big blind spot they're missing, and it could be helpful. I trust the universe. I trust the laws of creation. I am co-creating in every single moment exactly as I intend. So I'm very specific in my intentions these days. And so it is. Okay. This one is very meaningful to me. I have it in my chart on my unconscious side, and my sun is in this. So it makes up a good portion of my energy. And I've got a couple other family members that have it in their chart too. And I think it's because of the nature of the name itself. It can, lead us to immediately be like, oh, I don't want to be that way. But when we break down what the shadows mean, this big old boy, what the shadows mean and how they show up, I do have a lot of this shadow work to work through. And I would definitely tell you that saying hard things to people, even though it might be what they need to hear, has been incredibly tough for me. I've got actually 2 situations in my life right now where I need to be a little bit more provocative, and instead I've just been hiding because I do feel trapped. So exploring this topic was really beneficial, and I think is, as all things come into flow, I'm realizing like, oh, over the next 6-day period is when I am supposed to take some action on some of these things. So I'm so curious. Let me know in the comments, like, how does this show up for you? Do you feel more provocative over these 6 days? Do you feel like you're trusting that all your needs are going to be met, that, you're safe? How does that show up? How do you feel about being told that you're contributing to the violence of the world? How do you feel about being told that you're contributing to the violence of the world? Really tell me how that went, because that one's one that we're like, I am not. All right, lots of love. See you guys in 6 days.